Okay, so first of all, I feel like I owe some of you an apology because in my comments from last week's video, people were saying, Wes is the third green meanie. What do you mean that Grace is the third green meanie? And I was like, no, that's not what they meant last week when he killed Chamberlain. It just meant like he snapped and now he wants to kill people, but he's not the green meanie. But yes, I was totally wrong. You were right. Wes is the third green meanie, and we found out he's been the green meanie since the green meanie nonsense started at the hospital, so I do apologize. I was wrong. But you know what? I still have some hope that Grace will make an appearance in the finale. I mean, don't you guys want to see crazy, insane Grace? I really do. I really do. I feel like maybe she comes to check on her dad or something because he's not answering his phone or he's not returning her text. And, you know, we get to see her. Or she comes back and she starts killing people because she decides to take on, you know, the job her dad was doing. I don't know. But I'm hoping she comes back. I'm also holding on to hope that Chad Radwell never really died and he's going to return. But we do know one thing for sure, that my girl Denise didn't die, and she's for sure going to be back in next week's episode, which I kind of have been thinking and you've kind of been thinking for some time now, but I can't wait because this show really needs Denise. So we had Brooke Shields in this episode. I don't know if you guys are familiar with her because I'm not really that familiar with her, but I do know who she is. She looks amazing. I'm not sure how old she is, maybe late 50s or something, but she looks younger. She looks awesome. And I loved her part in this episode, even though she was only around for one episode. It was funny. The name of her show, Loving the D for Loving the Doctor, but we know that's not really what they meant. That was so funny. That really made me laugh. She was also a former Kappa sister, and she was someone who the Chanels were 100% obsessed with, so I thought that was just super, super, super funny. Basically, they wanted them to, like Dr. Brock and the Chanels, to do a live TV surgery on her show for her to be the first one to have this on the show, but as we know, she drank the poison coffee, so Chanel had to take over and be the host. And then what's really funny is she kind of had her dream come true, or it looks like her dream is going to come true, because last season she was like talking about how she wants to be like a famous newscaster or something. So now they want her to host the show. So hey, maybe that's something that they could do, a place that they could go for season 3. She could be like hosting a show and everyone else could be working on the show. I don't know, but I think actually that would be a really, really, really good idea. So what I thought was interesting also in this episode was that we got a breakdown of which green meanie killed which person, and we learned that that Wes killed Chad, which breaks my heart, and we just learned who killed everyone, and I don't remember them doing this last season, but we also learned that Wes was going to kill Chanel but failed, thankfully. I don't ever see them killing off Chanel 1. What do you guys think? I just don't see that happening. So Dr. Brock definitely has some killer tendencies. Also, he's kind of together with Hester now, and she's evil, so I don't know if he's going to be evil for the finale. But it was funny when he tried to kill Chanel, he tried to strangle her, and she was like, I thought you got a new hand, and he thought, well, maybe part of my old hand is still in there, but she's like, you're using both of your hands. So I think he really does want to kill her because she is super annoying, but it'll be interesting to see what happens to him. I could definitely see him dying in the finale, or just like taking off with Hester and never coming back for season 3. So the Chanels had to pass their MCATs before they were able to do that surgery, but of course Chanel 1 and Chanel 3 cheated by having Brock and Cassidy help them. But Chanel 5 actually was just super smart, I guess, and got almost a perfect score on her own. But then no one freaking cared, and I feel bad for her because no one really cares about her ever, and she's always made fun of, and it would be funny if she was the killer at some point because she definitely has the motivation to do that, I think. So I think she's a great candidate to be the killer, maybe next season or something. So one of the newer Chanels got killed, and that's kind of a useless death, so whatever. But the way she got killed was funny with the cookies. I thought that was really funny, but I didn't really care that she died because I'm not really into the new Chanels. So Cassidy's mom is insane, and she still has Zayday locked up, but I think for sure she lives, and I think she escapes. I definitely see Cassidy's mom dying. I don't see why we would need her in another season. She's so tied to this season and what's going on with the Green Meanie and everything. So I think she dies next week. But Chanel 5 or Chanel 3 did realize that Cassidy is... No, Zayday realized that Cassidy is the baby. Yes, that's what happened. So anyway, I definitely thought the ending was a bit surprising because, well, first of all, I should mention that Kirstie Alley, Dr. Hoffel, thought that she could get Chanel killed by getting into that frying oil, which is, you know, referencing last season with the former president of Kappa, who was burned badly with the frying oil. But Chanel was actually too smart for that. It was really a funny scene. But Wes actually killed himself in the frying oil, which I was surprised, but I'm not really shocked that he's dead because we don't really need him around anymore. But I was just kind of surprised that it happened that way. We also have the issue with Dean Munch. She is terminally ill, so she says. She kept fainting and everything. So is she going to be cured or what? I still think we can use that swamp water and cure her maybe in the finale. I definitely see that happening. I don't think Jamie Lee Curtis is going to die or we're going to lose her from the show. But I thought it was a pretty good episode, and honestly the last few episodes have been good and nothing like the rest of the season, which really sucked, honestly. So thank goodness it's gotten better. I think the finale will be okay. I definitely think there will be some type of surprise. We know Denise is coming back, so that's not a surprise. If there's only 3 green meanies, we know who they are. So what's the surprise going to be? There has to be one. Either someone shocking dies, or we think they die, or someone like Grace comes back, or we learn that Chad is still alive. And I also wanted to mention that Alan Thicke died this week, and I'm mentioning that because he played Chad's dad last season. He did a great job. He was very convincing in that role, but of course he's a television icon who's been in tons of things. He was most known for being the dad in Growing Pains in the 80s, but I do feel like they'll have something about him after the finale, like in the credits or something, because he was in a couple of episodes, I think, last season. So that is very sad, and rest in peace for him, and very sad time for his family. Robin Thicke is his son. You may be more aware of who he is, or maybe you know who Alan Thicke is. I don't know. I think he's been on Fuller House. He was in the first episode of This Is Us, and like so many other things. So I'm sure you've seen him around, but that's very sad. So I do expect for them to make a mention of that in some way next week. But I hope you will join me for my Scream Queen finale festivities next week. The great news is my channel is back to normal, so I can be live, so we can have a chat after the finale, which is going to be so fun. And I'll update you at that time about what's going to happen, what shows I'm going to cover, what I'm going to do for the time between while we're waiting on shows, if I'm going to do more shows, or what between the end of the year and the middle of January. So if you haven't subscribed yet, I would so appreciate it. That would mean so much to me, and if you would thumbs up this video, I would love that as well. But thank you so much for watching this episode of Kelly TV, and I will see you really soon. Bye, guys. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Kelly TV. I would love for you to subscribe and be a part of the Kelly TV family. Also, don't forget to follow me on Twitter so you can keep up with all I'm doing.